A fever lived in Aiden's bones, a restless rising tide. At 6 years old, an ember woke with nowhere left to hide. His emotions were a forge, a relentless heat. They turned every wooden beam into a smouldering defeat. The ecstasy accompanying a sister's first breath became a searing, ravenous blaze. The wood and the kin he loved were consumed in its merciless haze. He fled to a kingdom of brick and stone, a fortress by the lake, afraid that a single spark of love would cause the world around him to break. He chose a wasteland to reside, away from leaf and tree, to keep the fire that burned within from claiming all he'd see. Across the water, Lumi resided, a daughter of frost. Her touch was the sting of winter's breath, where every name was lost. Neglected and isolated, she became a repellent chill, where even the rivers at her touch would stand still. A silence lived within her heart, a cold and hollow space. Abandoned by the warmth of life, she sought a lonely place. A geographer of frozen wastes, she mapped the void alone, locked in a crystalline stillness, on a fragile, brittle throne. Fate, the silent architect, had a plan one night, drawing them both to the edge of the lake in fading light. They sat at the borders of their lonely domains, unaware of the other or their shared, quiet pains. But as darkness descended, the lake began to speak. The water near Lumi turned frozen and bleak. But Aiden's shore was a ring of fire, a flash against the dark. The lake refused to freeze where his spirit left its mark. Their eyes met through the mist, a collision of flaws, a defiance of nature and its physical laws. Lumi, craver of warmth, rose to her feet to seek out the glow where the two worlds might meet. The ice paved a way beneath her, a bridge made of glass, allowing her spirit and her body to pass. She walked upon the hardened wave, drawn by the distant glow. The heat he offered was the only truth she'd ever need to know. But as she reached Aiden, the warmth that he gave began to melt through the road she had paved. He stepped back in silence, a hesitant retreat, allowing the water to refreeze beneath her feet. She stepped onto the solid earth, no longer a phantom guest. The demon of her loneliness was finally put to rest. They took each other's hands, and the curse was broken, a union of stillness and fire, though no words were spoken. He found the calm silence he had longed for in her. She found the heartbeat that made her blood stir. They walked to the porch of the house of brick, two halves of a single soul. The fire and the frost combined to make the broken circle whole. Head upon shoulder, hand held in hand, they fell into a sleep that the world hadn't planned. The frost had tempered the raging heat. The fire had warmed the snow. It created a garden from the ash, where the wilder things could grow. With the morning, the front yard had blossomed in green, the first touch of spring the wasteland had seen. The lake, once a border between ice and flame, became a source of life for the fields they would claim. No longer captives of their own design or architects of pain, they inhaled the air of a brand new world and learned to love the rain.